Hi, I'm Dr. Karolyn, and this Christmas season, I want to take just a minute to share a little bit about who I am and why I do what I do. A lot of you know my story, but many of you don't. So I just want to share that first and foremost, I run this practice here at His Work, My Hands Chiropractic as a Christian, believing that God is the one who does all the healing, and that the reason we call it His work, my hands, is because He does the work. Jesus, God, is the one who does all of the healing, and I'm just His hands on earth because He doesn't have them here. So all the healing comes through Him. But why do I do what I do? Why do I focus on pregnant moms and children? Why do I like to work with the neurodevelopment difficulty crowd, the kids with neurodiversity issues? I'm a mom. I have raised five absolutely amazing boys, and we had all the typical issues that when they were growing up. I didn't have anybody that was neurodivergent by any means. Mine were neurotypical for sure, but we had emotional issues, behavioral issues, focus and attention, all the stuff that every parent is going through. We had doctor's visits, we had injuries, we had illnesses, we had all of that stuff. And I raised my family in a traditional Western medical model, and everything, it was good until my oldest was injured and suffered a traumatic brain injury when he was 18, actually right after he graduated high school. And his traumatic brain injury was undiagnosed for a year and a half. The doctors told us after his injury, he's fine, give him time, but he kept getting worse. And my gut said something else is wrong, but I didn't know. And so we just went to doctor after doctor asking questions, and they gave us the runaround, which is a lot of what you all go through, is the runaround. You know something's wrong, and they keep saying, no, don't worry about it. It took us a year and a half to get a diagnosis of a traumatic brain injury, and he suffered what's called dysautonomia, where the part of his brain that controls all the subconscious stuff, that was injured. I didn't know what that was. I'd never heard of dysautonomia before. I was not a chiropractor at the time. I was a stay-at-home mom for 18 years, and then I got a degree in philosophy and theology, and I was teaching in Catholic high school and at seminary. I was working for my church. I was doing all those amazing things, taking care of my kids. But when my son was injured and wasn't recovering and started getting worse and worse and worse, over time, I realized that his health and his support was going to be on me. I was going to have to potentially provide for him long term, both financially and physically, because his health declined. He lost physical ability, he lost cognitive ability, he started having pseudo seizures, he started having sensory issues, and he went from being this absolutely healthy, amazing young man to unable to go to school, unable to go to work, basically sitting on the couch all day because that's all he could do. And over time, I realized he was going to be my responsibility because there's all the doctors basically ultimately said, hey, sorry, sucks to be you. There's nothing you can do. This is who he is from now on. But I'm a mom, and that is not a good enough answer. So I started going down the rabbit hole. I'm sure a lot of you have done that. I went down the rabbit hole and I started looking and looking and looking. What can I do? How can I help him? How can I make it better? And long story short, I found chiropractic and realized that with his traumatic brain injury, we needed to heal his brain. And chiropractic was going to be the vehicle that would help with that. So I left my job, I sold my house, I moved across the country, and I enrolled in chiropractic college. And when I studied, everything that I looked at was, how can I help him? How can I help him? How will this affect him? What am I learning? What am I doing? What can I do to help him? And that was my focus. So condensing the story, because I could take hours to tell it. Ultimately, 9 years after his injury, he came to me and he said, Mom, I want to get better. Tell me what to do to get better. I will do anything you tell me. His friends were getting married and having kids. They were, buying houses. They were moving out on their own. They were independent of their parents, and he was sitting on a couch. So we put together a protocol that included physical activity, it included chiropractic care, functional neurology, ultimately cold laser therapy and nutrition therapy, very slowly building on what he was capable of doing. And it took time, but over 4 years, he fully recovered. We saw big gains along the way, day by day and week by week. No, but month by month, we began to be able to see that he could do more and he could do more and he could do more. And 10 years after his injury, on the actual anniversary, he done something we never expected he would be able to do, in that he ran a mile. When he first started exercising, he could walk half a mile in 30 minutes. And a year after he started working out, he ran a mile in under 6 minutes. But he wasn't fully healed then. It took him 2 months to recover from that. And then it took him another 3 years to say he's fully healed. And by the grace of God, and I give all the glory to God that he is fully healed, and he has gone to chiropractic college. He has graduated, and he's now working as a chiropractor himself. But what that has done is freed me up to be able to take care of you and your kids. And so why I do what I do as a mom, when doctors tell you that, hey, sorry, sucks to be you, there's nothing we can do, that is not a good enough answer. There is always more hope. And I'm here to help you with that hope. I'm here to help you be able to walk through those difficulties and say, hey, this might take a long time, but there's hope. There's hope, and I want to give that to you. So I'm here today to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and to say, let's start out this next year with the hope of Christ and relying on the healing of God for your children and your family. And I'll help in any way that I can. So Merry Christmas to you and to your family, and I hope to see you in the new year.